Alrighty then, well, it's a beautiful day here at Camp Crazy. Rocky's had his wet food, and I believe he's inside now in a wet food coma. But that'll happen after he eats. He likes to sleep. He does. And, yeah. Anyway, I never did tell the whole story about what the poop picture on the fridge. It wasn't just that he hadn't pooped in a week or more. It was also that he hadn't pooped for 2 weeks, and then I took him to the vet, and they had to x-ray him and flush him out and get the poop out of him, and that cost $1,400. And then he didn't poop for a week after that or more. It was more than a week. It was more like a week and a half. And I was really afraid his bowels would rupture. I'd come to the conclusion his bowels were no longer functioning for some reason. And I was afraid they'd rupture, and that he'd die a horrible death. So that's the reason that I had scheduled him to be put down. I felt terrible about it. I didn't want to do it, but I was really scared for him as far as that he'd suffer. Anyway, I'm glad that it didn't come to that. I was really grateful when he pooped, and that's why I put the picture of his poop on the fridge there. That's his bowel movement that he had only 3 hours before he would have been put down. So anyway, I'd even dug his grave here and everything. A pretty sad day. I was overjoyed when he pooped, though, I'll tell you. Like I say, every day I just count my blessings that he's still with me, And I got a small taste of what it'll be like to lose him. And I dread the day when that actually happens, But anyway, I'm going to chime in on a different thing now, because every other know-it-all and goofball has been chiming in on the topic, so why shouldn't I? I'm as big a know-it-all and a goofball as anyone. But the attempted assassination of Donald Trump is a big topic of conversation these days. I'll start out right from the get-go by saying that I don't know an awful lot about it. I know I know a few things about it. I don't know an awful lot about it. It does seem like the security was lax and so on around him that day. And, things were allowed to happen that shouldn't have been. But, French fries. But, I don't really know. I don't know all the details, and I don't think anybody does. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than what we're being told. My opinion, based on what I do know of it, which isn't anywhere near to everything, is that it was an inside job. There's a certain pattern that gets followed, and it was kind of predictable that would happen sooner or later. They've been trying to eliminate him in different ways, and they haven't been able to, so that's kind of the last resort thing, I guess, is we'll try and take him out completely, take him right out of the game. If we can't deplatform and discredit him and lock him up. But they don't have very much left to do, other than to do away with him, I guess. And I believe I believe there are people in high places that wanted that done. I believe the same thing's true of John Kennedy when he was assassinated in 1963. I don't believe it was just some nut in a book depository, I think Oswald was set up, as he said, as a patsy. I think he was right when he said that, when he called himself a patsy. And the fact that, a guy was allowed to get in there at him. This is the man who they were saying had assassinated the President of the United States. And they let that nightclub owner, whose name escapes me at the moment, normally I would know it, but because I'm trying to think of it now, it won't come to me. But you all know who I mean anyway. They let him in there, and with a loaded gun. So it seems they wanted to get Oswald out of the way so he couldn't tell his side of the story. And I think that it's a similar situation here. I do believe it was an inside job anyway. I don't think it was just some nut climbing up on a roof, some young 20-year-old nut. Although I think that he had bad intentions, and I think that he may have even been the one who fired the shot. I don't think that that he was. I don't think he flew under the radar. I think that I think they were fully aware he was there, and they allowed it to happen. And I think they allowed it to happen for a reason. And I think they were under instructions from higher ups to allow it to happen, basically. Anyway, that's just my opinion on it. I won't be a bit surprised if Biden don't get assassinated, because they're trying to get rid of him now. He's become a liability to these people, and so they're trying to get rid of him. So I won't be surprised if something happens to him to get him out of office. Either he'll be blackmailed into resigning, or something else will happen to him. And like I say, that could even include an assassination. He's become a huge liability for those people. So, and of course, Trump was a liability for them right from the start, because he ran on the platform of draining the swamp. Well, they're the residents of the swamp, these people. So they don't want to move. They like it there. Anyway, that's it. That's just my opinion. I can be wrong, and I may be wrong. Maybe it wasn't an inside job. Maybe it was just some crazy guy. And maybe this security was lax just because sometimes people fall asleep at the switch. It's possible. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. So, that I say don't discount any possibilities. But my personal opinion, I'm going to point at myself with a French fry here. My personal opinion is that it was an inside job, because they're desperate to get him out of the way. They don't want him to run and get another term in office. Of course, because of what happened, he's pretty much guaranteed another term. So if they did this, it backfired on them big time. And we know the other things that they've done have also backfired on them. So, I mean, sometimes God takes evil and turns it around for good. He can do that if he chooses to. And I believe that there may have been some divine intervention there. I believe that, that Trump is being used by God at this point to try to fix what's happened, and to keep us out of a nuclear war, because if Biden gets his way, that's where we're headed. He wants to get us into a war with Russia, and that would be a nuclear war. And I say Trump and Putin actually have a pretty good rapport. They understand each other. They're both tough men, and there's a mutual respect, though. They're not friends, but there's still a mutual respect, I mean, in a way, they're adversaries, but they can work with each other. They understand each other in a way that Putin and Biden won't and don't, Anyway. We'll see how it all unfolds. That's all. We'll just see how it all unfolds. All right. Bye for now.